Good afternoon, everyone here in India, and good morning to Andrew and Rebecca from UK. Welcome to the webinar on careers after 12th standard. Today, we have here with us two luminaries from the education field to tell us about the opportunities available for the graduate students. At the outset, let me thank Mumbai Educational Trust for providing this platform so that students and parents can benefit from today's session. Mumbai Educational Trust was established in the year 1989 and with a mission to redefine education. The Met League of Colleges, which is a conglomerate of various educational institutes, is managed by the Trust. The institutes are professionally managed and are an oasis of knowledge. There are about 21 institutes and its subdivisions housed in the state-of-the-art campuses in Nasik and Mumbai. So once again, thanking MET Mumbai for their patronage. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our first guest, Dr. Seema Tatwawadi. She is the director of MET Institute of PGDM. And Dr. Tatwawadi is a renowned psychologist, an educationist, career mentor, and has more than 3 decades of experience in mentoring students. With this, I request Dr. Seema Tatwawadi to present her views on the topic.
Thank
Please
you,
go
Chair.
ahead.
Good morning to Andrew and Rebecca, and good afternoon, everyone. I welcome Mr. Andrew, Sales Director, NCC Education, UK, and all the participants of this webinar on careers after 12th standard, Indian and overseas options. Selection of a career and what to do after completing 12th standard is an important decision for parents and for students. All the selection of specializations, art, science, and commerce happens after 10th standard. So by the time the student completes 12th, they have the fair idea about liking and aptitude of those subjects. But the student's decision is guided by several other forces. The education landscape has changed completely from 2020 due to pandemic. It has been extremely challenging for both the teachers and students. Suddenly, physical schools have moved to the online mode and students remain confined to home. But students have adapted beautifully to this new normal and adjusted to the new way of life. See, I've been counseling for more than 3 decades, but in recent past, I have come across students who are inclined to study abroad for various reasons. Those who are interested in going overseas for studies don't have to postpone their plans due to pandemic. They can keep their dreams alive by doing graduation from MET Mumbai and universities in UK. MET Mumbai offers various international graduation courses in computing, cybersecurity, business management, and sports management. Today, there are multiple options available for students in all the specializations in India and overseas. For further discussion, I would like to share the presentation. Just wait for a minute. Charushil, I am not able to see the presentation icon. I think, have you blocked it?
Yeah, just a moment, let me see. Can you try that again now?
Yeah. One minute. Yeah, is it visible?
Not yet. It's loading.
Yeah.
Yes, it's visible now.
It's visible now?
Yes. Need to add the picture view.
I did that. Okay, it's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is a choice you have to make in everything you do. And you must always keep in mind the choice that make makes you. When student comes for career counseling, they have lots of questions to ask me. Firstly, they ask, my dad wants me to do this particular program, engineering or medical, and my uncle says commerce is good, and my friend says arts is good. So biggest confusion is whom to listen to. So there are various factors in our country when it comes to the decision of students' career, or we can say the selection of subjects in graduation. Career is a very vast thing and it starts after graduation. So how to choose a career is very important, and there are biggest influencers of careers. Like parents and the family are the biggest influencer, and they are students' well wishers also. Every parent want their child to do well in studies and to do well in career and to earn good money. Sometimes it happens that there is a family business and the parents want their children to do something in the area where they can support the family business and they can take this business ahead. Next influencer is peer pressure, because the friends are doing something, so students want to do something. Then school conducts various seminars and workshops and career guidance sessions for students. Similarly, teachers are also guiding the students, and media is also biggest influencer, whether it is a social media, print media, or digital media. Media is biggest influencer. Apart from this, students they gather information from Google. So when you have lots of information from all the sources, so just knowing about all the courses and subjects is important, or choosing a career is beyond that. So what I personally feel, choosing a career is beyond that. It is not only knowing all the specialization and all the subjects, because all this is available everywhere, and they can go to the Google, find out, parents are there, peer, school, media, everyone. But what is very important in selecting a career? According to me, there are these 4 points which are very important before you choose any career or select subjects or specializations. First is know yourself, know your options, your resources, and the scope, and whatever you decide to do. So when we talk about know yourself is very important, because it's very important to know what the student's personality is, what are his strengths and weaknesses are, what the interest and aptitude is. And remember that every individual is unique, so respect your uniqueness. And you cannot be like your other sibling or like your friend. Another important point I would like to mention here is the students, when they come for counseling, they say, I am interested in this particular subject, so I want to pursue it. But remember, your interest should match to your potential. Your interest and liking may change with age and experience, but your aptitude and intelligence is important to consider here. If you know yourself, then it is very good, very fine. If not, then you can take career counselor's help. Career counselor is trained in conducting standardized psychometric tests to check your personality, your interest, your aptitude, and your IQ. Also, career counselor has a knowledge of various career options or courses in India and overseas. So once you do this, counselor will guide you to choose suitable options accordingly. Once you know yourself, the second step is know your options, know available options. There are various courses available in India and abroad. So while choosing an option, check the courses are available in which colleges, they are available in which cities, how many seats are available in that particular course, what is the fee structure, what is the admission procedure, and what is other requirement for the admission. Also, if it is in other city, then does that college has hostel facilities, or what is the option for your staying there? Like we all know that competition is in every field is increasing, so you must keep a backup plan ready. Your plan B should also be very well researched, and you must gather all the required information about that course in advance. This will help in avoiding last minute stress and confusion. Choice in career should be logical, scientifically thought, and practical. After this, next step is resources. So you have mainly two resources. First is your time, how much time you have in hand. And another important resource is finance. So please research all the finance options offered by the institute before applying for that particular program. Some colleges offer scholarships. Check that. Also the students' own facility. Plan it well in advance. The next step is scope. When I'm talking about scope, I'm not talking about the salary, because the first question is asked by the student, what will be my salary if I do this particular course? What will be my profile? So here we are not talking about the salary or designation. We are talking about the potential of study in the long run, and how can you enhance your career by doing this particular program, and options for higher studies. How can you apply this knowledge in various industries to get better prospects? Once all these points are in place, you can take an informed decision about what to do. So when you finalize this, your parents' willingness is very, very important. Your parents should be willing, and they should be happy in whatever decision is made. And whatever subject or specialization or career you choose, there is a proper reality check, means your aptitude is checked, and your interest also. Sometimes it may happen that you may not be very much interested in that, but I request those who have the aptitude, please develop your interest in that particular subject. And remember that competition in every field is increasing, so you have to outperform your own standards, give your 100% and do your best. The 4 P's of success, just this is according to me only: purpose, passion, possibilities, and power of self. So if you have a purpose in life, then follow you have purpose in life, and dream will follow this dream with passion in your heart, and possibilities will open for you. Choose today to believe in the magical power of wishing, hoping, and dreaming. You can survive only if you believe in the power of yourself. It is very important to have faith in yourself and in your capabilities. And at the end, I would like to say, write your own book instead of reading someone else's story about success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure the participants will surely benefit from your advice. Well, ideal choice, as you mentioned, could be from an Indian university or also a foreign university. Now, Met Institute of International Studies offer graduation programs in international courses such as computing, business IT, cybersecurity, also business management, and e-sport management from foreign universities. Well, the uniqueness of these graduation programs is its flexibility, where part of the program can be completed by students in India, and partly they can also study in UK or Australia. So a recent report, which was published in the Indian Express, and it was also updated on 21st of January this year, mentioned that the National Education Policy of 2020, which was discussed in the Parliament, has provisions to set up top foreign universities, and they can open their branches in India, which was not so earlier. But considering that it may take a couple of years for these branches to set up their operations, our current students shouldn't miss out on their opportunity to get any foreign qualification. And that is the thought behind these various programs which are being offered by Met Institute of International Studies. So to talk about more such opportunities available to students, we have here with us Mr. Andrew Rennie, and he is the Sales Director for Transnational Education and Head of Business Development at NCC Education. He has more than 20 years of experience in international student recruitment and also developing partner centers across the world. He is an alumni of Chartered Institute of Marketing and has an MBA from University of Humberside in European Business. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over the further proceedings to Mr. Rennie. Over to you, Mr. Rennie.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me just try and upload my presentation.
Sure.
Okay, can you see that?
Not yet. Let's give.
Can everybody see my screen, my presentation?
No, not visible.
All right,
Not
I
yet.
don't think I'm on sharing mode. Have I been given rights to share?
Sarushil, you have to give rights to share the PPTs.
Yes, I have given. I've given them.
No, I can't seem to share. I've got my presentation up, but
Okay.
Should I share then? Should I try, Sarushil?
if you can.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll try.
My apologies, everybody. Technical glitch.
No worries.
Yeah, can you
There's
see this?
sometimes. Yes, it's
Sarushil,
loading, ma'am.
look at
It's
that.
loading.
Okay, there we are. If you'd
Yes.
like to
Yes,
go
it's
onto
up.
full screen.
Yeah? Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Dr. Seema. Well, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. It's very nice to be here and very nice to be offering this joint webinar and to explain a little bit more about NCC Education and the opportunity or springboard we can offer to those who are interested in following one of our qualifications and the opportunity to perhaps think more international. If we could go to the next presentation, the next slide, please. This is our mantra: educate, inspire, and grow. And we really do. We really do work alongside this and think about this when we're planning and our strategy planning and thinking about the business now and in the future. You know, we really do want to inspire and grow, and that's part of the reason why we focus on. We have partner centers in 50 countries around the world, where there really is an appetite for international education and British education. So who's NCC Education? You can see a picture in the background. That's our head office here in Manchester, and that's where I live, and that's where I'm talking from today. Not from the head office, but from home, but it's not very far from where I live. We have around 15,000 students across 50 countries. We were established just over 50 years ago here in Manchester. And for the last 30 years, we've been offering degree pathways internationally. So programs which are offered by teaching centres like Met Mumbai to local students, British qualifications. And these qualifications are the same in every country, and the standard is mirrored against what is offered here in the UK. So these are programs which you would experience and be exposed to here in the United Kingdom if you came to a university. In terms of that network, we have about 200 partners offering one or more qualifications. Can we move on? Next slide. So in terms of giving you confidence, so not only are programs recognized by universities for progression, or what we call articulation, that's where the university will recognize prior credit. So, and I'll explain a bit more about that. But we're also recognized by the UK government. It's an organization called Ofqual, and they monitor carefully our actions and our assessments. And they make sure that we meet their requirements and the requirements of students. You know, their interest is in making sure that students receive good value and that there's nothing untowards happening. So it's a high bar which is kept, and we are regularly monitored by this organization. There's no other organization like it in the United Kingdom. So as long as a qualification is Ofqual regulated, you should have a sound peace of mind. University, we're not a university, we're an awarding body, but universities are a slightly different organization. It's called QAA. So here are the countries where we're located around the world, just to give you some idea that we're not just an organization that was established yesterday. We've been about for 50 years, and we have some long-term partnerships and relationships with organizations all around the world. Let's move on. So we have over 90 universities that recognize one or more of our qualifications for progression. And we have probably over 1 million graduates who have been through our degree pathway. And I'll explain a little bit more about that degree pathway in a minute. But when I talk about 90 universities, these are institutions that recognize our students and their study with with NCC. So they may recognize 1, 2, or 3-year program. And what that means is that they will accept students halfway through a degree or at the latter part of a degree. So you can do, so in the United Kingdom, a typical honours degree or graduate program is 3 years. And you can study 1 year in India and 2 years in the UK, or 2 years in India and 1 year in the UK. And that's what I mean by progression routes. So it's entirely up to you how you do that. If you decide at any time that you can't come to the UK, and maybe that's for financial or personal reasons, you can still complete the degree program and get a UK degree without coming to the United Kingdom. And this is called transnational education. So in brief, this is what I'm going to be talking about today, this 3-year degree program. And we offer essentially two routes, a business and computing. Business is an extremely versatile degree. I have a degree in Masters in Business, and it opens a whole host of opportunities in terms of employment, career choice, and the type of industry you want to go into. So it's extremely versatile, but that also means it's extremely competitive, and you need to be focused on what you want to do. Whilst on the other hand, perhaps at the other end of the spectrum, we have computing. Computing is more vocational. It's for people with an aptitude in, say, if you like, solving puzzles, mathematics, solving problems. You need to have a certain aptitude to be good at computing. But if you are good and that's your thing, you can do fantastically well. And there's a lot of opportunities out there. It's a vocational course. It's a course which, again, you can complete in country, in India, or you can decide to complete part of it here in the United Kingdom. I think depending on which route, and it really goes back to Dr. Seema's presentation, you really need to close your eyes and think about ideally what your perfect position is. What type of career do you want? And yes, there's lots of influences, and your parents may want you to go down a particular route or into the family business, but you must think about what type of job you want, and then take a step back and think to yourself. And these might not be answers you have yourself. You need to go and do your research, and you can't do enough research. You must continue researching at every single level and stage in your life to make sure that you're fully informed to make those decisions. But you need to think about what type of skills and qualifications you need to succeed in your career. And if it's a very particular type of career, there will be very particular requirements. For example, accountancy or law. But even in business, business is broken down into lots of different functions. There's human resources, there's finance, there's marketing, there's operations. Marketing is now a subgroup into social media marketing, branding, communication, PR, etc. You need to think, and these are sometimes questions which are very difficult to answer, and you might not be able to answer them until later on in life. Some friends of mine, even at my age, have no idea what type of career they still want to pursue or go into, or maybe a career change. So if you don't have the answers, that doesn't matter, but it does help. And if you do have an idea of where you want to be, think about those skills, those qualifications, the type of experiences you need to be able to fulfill those, and maybe the type of changes you need to make as an individual. And also what's becoming more and more important is how do you differentiate yourself from the competition? And these are terms you'll come across in business and when you're managing a product or service, but you have to think about yourself as a product or service. How do you differentiate yourself from everybody else? How do you stand out on the shelf? And these are really important things you need to overcome. And it is better if you overcome them whilst you're young, or wait until you come to my sort of age. These are things you really need to think about. There's lots of things to help you do this as well. There's lots of websites. There's LinkedIn, and it's anybody going into further education should be on LinkedIn, and should have their profile up there, a professional profile, a professional picture. So there's lots of tools out there, and there's lots of advice, sometimes too much advice, and that can become too overwhelming. Okay, so I've gone off tangent, but basically there's two pathways and there's 3 levels, okay? And what I've done is, so level 1 or year 1 and year 2, they can be delivered at Met in Mumbai. The final year, we offer online, and you can see that as your contingency, as your backup, your insurance. So if you don't decide to come to the UK, you can complete the final year in India. I say it's online. The only difference is, well, there's probably no difference at all. However, we've been offering this online for many years. It's very professional. It's a well-written program. It comes with synchronous and asynchronous support. So for some of you, there will be no difference between years 1 and 2 in some countries where students have been unable to go into the school for the last year. And it really depends on local conditions, and I'm not going to preempt those. But I think we try and have a backup for everybody, and there's some great opportunities. So let me go into some of these programs, and I'll talk about some of the opportunities. So I just hope at this stage that everyone's clear. So it's a 3-year degree, and you will get a UK degree at the end of it if you stay at Met Mumbai, but you also have the option to come to go abroad and complete this 3-year degree. So looking at this slide, this is the computing pathway. If you could just press another button, maybe the other images will come up, and the final button. So starting from the left side, so this is computing, and really you need to have an aptitude for computing to go into it. You'll be covering programming languages. At year 1, we have the diploma in computing, and we have a second diploma with a specialism in business management. Okay, and then moving into year 2, we have the business management and cyber security. I can share with you the names of the units and what you'll see, but I think what we've seen a huge interest in cybersecurity, and our cybersecurity specialism we've used materials from an organization called EC Council, and they actually provide dual certification. So if you complete our year 2, you will also receive certification from EC Council, and this is an industry sector qualification. Anyone who's spent years in cybersecurity will have come across EC Council, and we'd be familiar with the brand and training. And they offer lots of different training courses, but they've licensed several materials to us, and we've built them into our second year of a degree. Okay, and that will be taught in Mumbai. A great option to choose, and there's a huge amount of opportunities in the market when it comes to employment. There's no shortage of jobs there, but also for computing and the pure computing route. It introduces you to all the skills you need to go off and do, whether it's you want to go into gaming, programming, support systems. Some people go into networking. There's a whole host of careers which are IT related. So that's year 2. At year 3, if you want to come to the UK, for example, you can do that, and we have a whole range of progression opportunities. So for example, if after the first year in computing and you decide, well, my parents want me to go and study in the UK for 2 years, the remaining 2 years, if that's your plan now, so if you start the course now and next year you want to go to the UK, you need to be doing your research now into a UK university which to go to. So for example, some of the universities that accept our year 1 students are University of Bangor, De Montfort, Deakin University in Australia, Letterkenny Institute of Technology in Ireland, South Cross University in Australia, Swinburne University in Australia, and Unitech Institute of Technology in New Zealand. So they're just some of the organizations that accept our year 1 students. If you go to our progression booklet, and I put the link at the bottom right hand corner of this slide, it's called What's Next. If you go to our website, you'll see the booklet there. You need to download the booklet, and you can see all the articulations from year 1 and year 2. So I can't really comment on New Zealand, Australia, and the US, but if you come to the UK and you study for 1 full year, you're also eligible to stay for 2 years employment afterwards. So it's called a post-study work visa. So anyone who comes and completes either year 2 or year 2 and year 3 in the United Kingdom, you will be eligible to apply for a post-study work visa, which gives you leave to remain in the UK for employment purposes for 2 years. Some people, if they're offered a particular type of job and their company wants to continue with that employment, that can be extended further. But initially it's 2 years. If you can't find employment, obviously you'll have to return back to India within that period of time. There are rules around those who can stay and those who can't stay, but essentially you get a 2-year work visa. So, you know, in terms of economics, it probably makes more sense to spend the first and second year in India and then come to the UK for the final year. And there's a whole host of universities that accept you. And then after spending a year at a UK university, use that to find employment after you graduate with your BA or BSc honours. Okay, so in terms of entry requirements for that course, we're looking for students who are 12 standard leavers. Obviously, that's also open to other qualifications, equivalent qualifications, whether that's IB or A levels. But really, for this presentation, 12 standard students can consider computing. It is important, going back to what Dr. Seema was saying, is that you have an aptitude for computing if you want to do well in this sector. Okay, not everyone. You have to be hardworking as well, but just consider the content of the course. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Yes, obviously everything's going to be taught and assessed in English, but students who completed their 12 standard with a good grade should meet our entry requirements, and there should be, that's not really an issue for students coming from India. Okay, let's move on. So let's just recap. So there's the diploma in computing, there's diploma in business, and there's computing with business management. It provides access or entry to higher education in the United Kingdom. Our qualifications are internationally recognized. So someone can go to, so if they're not sure about your award, your parents or an employer can go to our website or the UK government's website and see the qualification registered on the Ofqual website. Our level 4 or year 1 qualification is directly equivalent to the first year of a degree if you go to a UK campus. Okay, so exactly the same level, there's no difference. We provide practical vocational skills. We're recognized by a whole host of universities in the UK and elsewhere. And it's a 1-year program. So you would be complete. In fact, if you start now, you would be getting your results this week, next year, for the 1-year course. Okay. But if you are considering going to a UK university, you need to plan probably 10 months in advance. Okay, so around October time, you should be thinking about the next year ahead. Like employment, like anything else, you need to plan and do your research for the next stage. Okay, right, let's move on to the next slide. I'm not going to spend too much on this, but these are the modules you would complete in computing. And what I suggest you do is have a look on our website, and you can see the course specification, you can see how they're assessed, you can even see assessment papers. So you can see how we assess all our learners on each of the units mentioned. Okay, and that's really important because there's always some anticipation as to whether this program is for you, whether you'll be able to complete the assessments, all these sort of questions. Go and have a look at our website and you can see the curriculum in detail and the assessment, most importantly. Let me just close my window. Sorry. Right, so moving on to year 2 in computing, business management and cybersecurity. Again, it provides progression. It comes with support from NCC, like our level 4 and level 5. We provide the teaching materials to MET, so we can ensure that you have the support and guidance which is closely aligned to the curriculum which we produced and which you can find on our website. The same sort of progression arrangement works, and if you notice on the wheel, we mentioned listed with UCAS. So UCAS is a central university admissions system used in the UK. So if you come to a UK university, you have 2 options in terms of the application process. You can either apply through UCAS, and that gives you a choice of 5 universities or 5 courses, or you can apply directly to the university. through the international pages. And you have to go to the website and read what the application process is, but it's either direct application or it's through UCAS. The issue with direct applications is that if you want to apply to 2 or 3 universities, you have to make 2 or 3 direct applications. So UCAS, you make 1 application and that can go to 5 universities. They charge you, there's a small fee for it, but it's not very much. Okay. Again, year 2 is a 1-year program. Let's move on. Again, these are the units. You can find all the details of each of the units on our website in our course specification document. Obviously, this is important. You know, anyone following an IT computing career, there's a whole host of technical employment opportunities. And I would say since the pandemic, these have increased probably 2 or 3-fold. It's because companies' reliance on technology has grown and increased. And, you know, there's so many organizations that push forward their investment in technology because it requires additional levels of security. And with people working from home or working remotely, you know, additional systems are required. And also people's perception to technology, I think, has overcome. You know, for many people, learning online, webinars, a whole host of things have rapidly moved forward. And, you know, you think that, you know, even developing a vaccine in 1 year is totally unheard of. And there's so many other things, barriers which have been broken down because of the wide use of technology. So I would say that there's no limit to the opportunities, and I've never seen so many computing and IT jobs available as there are at the moment. So for those who have the aptitude for it, you know, it's a great career choice, computing. In terms of business, business is equally exciting from a slightly different perspective. You know, we have a year 1 diploma in business. We have introduced an esports diploma, if that's of interest, at level 4 at the moment. And we have plans next year to introduce a level 5 esports. It's very similar to, so esports can fall into the sort of technical stream or the business events management stream. And this falls into the business events management area. I would say that if you've got good organizational skills, you may still be able to go into esports, and as long as you have that passion. And it really is about passion for anything you go into. You know, it's all very well following the instruction from your parents of where you want to go. And for many students, that's fine and that works. But for some students that need an additional motivation and focus, you know, focus on the areas which you find most interesting. Obviously, it helps that there's employment at the end of it. We all need to survive, but having an interest in the subject makes it far easier to learn and study and pursue than not having an interest in it. And, you know, if you're not interested in business now and you follow it and you do well, that's fine, and you get employment, but you may not find employment equally satisfying later on in life. So choosing something you're passionate and interested in does make a huge amount of difference. Here are the units you'll come across in year 1 business. They're fairly generic, but what they do is they offer a wide range of opportunities. I've got a friend who's a partner in a firm of accountants, and it's one of the top, I think it's top 4 accountancy organizations. And there's a shortage of finance people here in the UK for auditing, for example, and they outsource finance activities to people in South Africa and India. And they also bring staff across from those 2 countries as well, because there's a shortage here in the UK in that area. But, you know, that's just one of many areas. And if you're not quite sure what you want to do, go back to what I was saying about how versatile this is. This is an opportunity for you to discover areas of business where you can follow and pick up later. And you could pick up in terms of post-graduation or just in terms of further study or find employment. But I noticed, I was looking at the Met website last night, and they've got a strong placement team. But these days, it is about differentiating yourself, and even to get a placement, you often have to convince a potential employer to give up their time, and they may be competitive. The best placements. So it's all about creating your profile, getting any other work experiences outside college you can. If you've got a family friend or a particular business you're interested in, there's nothing stopping you from going along and getting your own work experience as well. And that may help you get a better placement, and it will certainly help you get a better job. You can't depend on other people. Don't rely on anyone else. You are the author of your own actions, of where you go, of your career, and it's down to you. At the end of the day, you're the one who's got to make the decisions, and you're the one who has to put the hard work in. So please don't be over reliant on family, friends, the placement team. Be proactive here. And we're giving you the tools to, in this case, seek an international qualification, to potentially seek employment overseas, certainly study overseas. That's something which is realistic and it's built into this program, but you cannot rely on this 100%. It's a competitive world out there. Every job and situation, you have to go through an interview process, and you have to sell yourself. Sales is one of the options, outcomes for someone who does a business degree. But at the end of the day, you all have to be salespeople. You all have to market this product, which is yourself, and go out and sell it. And I quite often feel, certainly with a business degree, it's also that focus on soft skills, on communication. And it's not just something that will help you during your graduate years, it will help you throughout life. And if you're not a great communicator, if you find that difficult, that's something you have to work on. Some people join theatre, drama groups, groups that help them improve their communication skills, because these soft skills are very important in business. So please don't neglect those. So just going back to the progression opportunities, the latest progression routes you'll find in our What's Next brochure booklet. And that's been updated in September, so you'll find some more articulations from September when the next edition is out. But here are just some of the institutions that recognize our students at the end of year 2 and end of year 3. Obviously, part of your research is not just about going to a particular country and a particular university. It's making sure that the course is right for you and gives you the skills you need, whether that's in computing or business, or the functions within those disciplines. If you want to specialize in HR or marketing, you might find a degree course that will provide a top-up year or year 3 in those particular disciplines. So really look at the content and make sure the content supports and align to your career outcomes. Okay, but what we've done is we're giving you the tools to be able to succeed, and it's for you to sort out the detail, okay, and decide what's best for you and best for your family. Okay, next presentation, please. So if you, as a contingency, and this is important, and insurance, so each of those pathways has an online option. University of Central Lancashire is computing, and New Bucks University is for business. And next one. So Uclan, which is University of Central Lancashire, that's just up the road from Manchester. It's about an hour away by car. It's 100% online. It's a combination of synchronous and asynchronous study. Very established. We've been offering an online topic degree for probably the last 7 or 8 years. It's flexible, it's affordable, accessible, and every student who's completed our level 5 or our year 2 diploma in computing, whether it's with business management or cybersecurity, can go on to this degree. It has 2 intakes in the year. It has an intake in February and an intake in August. And we have some of the sort of top computing lecturers that are teaching on this. Great opportunity. If you can't come to the UK, but you can come for the graduation ceremony, the students will support you in that. In terms of the actual program, there's weekly lectures, there's tutorial exercises, discussion forums, and live chats. It's very well structured, so you will have learning outcomes for each week. It's not a case that you can sort of take a holiday in the second week or the third week and then return. It's very structured learning, and also quite intense. But you'll be taken through it. There's a full proper induction, and if you're not used to online learning, there'll be some training in that. In terms of the top-up business, this is awarded by New Buckingham University. It's a generic business program. Again, a combination of synchronous and asynchronous teaching. All the assessments are assignments, and it's very straightforward, and it will accept students straight from our level 5 qualification. Okay, so there's no need for either of these top-up degrees to present an IELTS certificate or anything like that. As long as you've completed with a pass our level, our year 2 diplomas, you can go on straight onto this. So if you did either of these top-up degrees, at the end of 3 years, you actually have 3 certificates. You'll have 2 certificates from NCC Education and 1 degree certificate from the university, whether it's New Bucks University or University of Central Lancashire. So you'll have 3 awards or 3 certificates, qualifications, at the end of this 3-year pathway, if you decide to follow each of 3 years from Mumbai. Okay, let's move on to these are the 4 units which are on the New Bucks University, which is delivered through a team called Magna Carta College. Okay, and as I say, these are all assignments or projects. There's no exams, and the same applies to the University of Central Lancashire Computing pop-up. There's no exams on that. It's assignments or projects. So what that also means is that, you know, if you can't go into college or if you can't go into an exam hall, it doesn't matter. You can complete these top-up programs online and remotely. So that's for the final year. So if whatever your circumstances, it provides a lot of flexibility. And we have people all around the world, not necessarily in the country of their birth, completing these top-up degrees. So it offers that flexibility. Right. I hope I haven't exhausted everybody, and I hope you're still awake. I'm very happy to answer any questions about this or any connected subject.
Thank you, Mr. Rennie. And I would request everyone to post their questions in the chat box. Okay, and we already have one question here. I guess I'll first give it to Director Ma'am, and you can also join in, Mr. Rennie. What are the job opportunities after graduation? In fact, this is something which Mr. Rennie asked at the start of the program, that would students be looking at some kind of job opportunities after graduation. So we have a question here, that what job opportunities are available after graduation?
See, generally graduation is just the first step of our completing that special course which students have entered after 12th standard. there is no dearth or there is no this thing of jobs available in the market. Okay, but you have to remember that only degree is not sufficient to get a job. With the degree, students will have to develop their skills. Today, the soft skills are very important. So the communication, leadership, team building, other these skills are also very important. So they will have to have a complete package to get a good job. Degree plus soft skills. So jobs are available. Plenty of jobs are available. The thing is, they have to make employable. They have to make themselves employable to get a better job.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Andrew.
No, I would agree that, you know, with increasing numbers of people entering the job market globally, that, you know, you have to offer the best you can. And you know, even if you're about to graduate from your first degree and you're not quite sure what to do, it's important to apply for a master's as a contingency, or some other learning. And you do have to continue learning. You know, learning is not just something which happens in the first 3 or 4 years since you left your 12 standard. It's a continuous process. You know, things change, the job market's changing, the skills for employers are changing. So we all have to stay on top of technology, however frustrating that may be. But yes, you need to be armed with as many qualifications and as much experience as you can before you're probably well enough equipped to go out and find the job you want. Okay. But yes, there's jobs out there, but there's jobs for the skilled and those who get through the interviews. And it's those soft skills. You can't overestimate how important those soft skills are. The communication, the team building, you know, working with different people, using technology. You know, technology it's not really a skill. It is a skill. It's a life skill. There's an expectation now from employers that, you know, you can use all the desktop application packages, that you can perhaps use social media, whether that's Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. There's an automatic expectation that you have all this. And yes, it's very demanding, but you need to be equipped as a well-rounded individual before you can go out into the workplace.
And soft skills there to develop well during their graduation program, because it cannot be developed within a week or period or month. It is a long process. So with their studies, they should work on communication and other soft skills simultaneously to get a better job. And I would advise after graduation, it is important to complete post graduation. So look for the educational progression more than a job. Okay.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. We have another question from Hriday, and he has mentioned that you elaborated on a point, or you spoke on a point about wide scope in the course. So there's a wide scope in the course. So he would like to have some kind of elaboration on that.
Which course?
I guess what he meant was the international course. Hasn't mentioned it here.
Okay.
So he has picked up a cue from what you spoke, and that is what he wanted some elaboration on.
On the courses in India, options available? I didn't get the question, proper question. What is, I didn't understand.
Sure. So I'll take another question. Meanwhile, I'll ask Rita to clarify what exactly is it that he's looking for. And
Correct.
we have another question, which is, what are some of the new courses after 12th standard? Not the traditional ones, but probably the new courses after 12th standard.
Okay. First, I will say, see, in India, generally traditional courses after arts, science, and commerce. I think everyone is well aware of it. But now the graduation programs also in this mass media, journalism, and photography, and all these areas have started in India. Apart from that, due to this online and IT thing, so IT, online event management, esports management, okay, and game designing, all these courses are new courses and they are big time in demand in India. Animation, VFX, web designing, digital marketing, big data analysis, analytics, graphic designing, and mobile applications and development. All these courses are new courses apart from the traditional courses, which I think most of us we know about it. Yeah, engineering. See, should I elaborate that also after PCA and
Uh,
PCB?
no, in fact, we have another question asking the same thing by Ishita. So Ishita writes here that we have discussed business studies, but what about medical or pre or something for pre-medical students? Is there something for them?
See, for medical students, there's a common entrance test which they have to appear after PCB in 12th. Yeah, physics, chemistry, and biology. They have to appear for common entrance test. The toppers get into MBBS. After MBBS, there is BDS, BHMS. Okay, then Ayurvedic, homeopathic, physiotherapy, then pharma, and there are several other courses which are related to medical. This thing are available in India, and they are much in demand now. We are not getting experts in like speech therapy, physiotherapy, occupational therapy. All these are medical related programs, and we are not getting good experts in these areas. So these are also courses much in demand. After completing this program, students can get a job in government hospitals also. They can work in private hospital, and they can start their own as an entrepreneur. They can start their own clinics also. There are several options available. Apart from that, plain BSc is there in physics, chemistry, and botany or zoology, BSc, MSc, PhD, and then biotechnology. All that field is also open for them. And any BSc student, they have an option of choosing or going to BA also. They can do specialization in any languages or any art subject. They can go for commerce also. They can do BMS. They can go for mass media specializations. Apart from that, there are common courses like the maths. If they have 12th maths in 12th standard, they can go for fashion designing and hotel management. So there are multiple options available. So what happens generally, our thinking, what in our country especially from the childhood, they listen to all these things. The environment is created around them, so they hardly use their own thinking or their own interest or liking. They go by what is taught to them or told to them from the childhood. So that is why I said first know yourself, then know your options.
Mm.
Know
Yeah,
yourself is important, and there are multiple options available. And you
yeah.
can excel in any field and every field. And after again for all the students after while doing their graduation, if they realize, oh, what I thought that this will be the subject will be or the course will be like this, but it is not up to my liking or my interest, then they have a option of doing post graduation in something else, and they can actually get a job. And after completing graduation and post graduation also, there's a possibility that they may start their own business. They may not work for anyone. They can go for NGOs, they can work for NGOs, some CSR activities. So there are a lot of things are available.
Andrew, you also wanted to make a point, right?
No, I just wanted, anyone going into the sciences, and the sciences are a very good option. I have two daughters who have gone down that route, and the study journeys are very well trodden and very clear, and you need to do your research. And obviously, it starts by leaving school with strong science background. But if you want to go into whether it's pharmacy, dentistry, be a doctor, they're very well trodden pathways, and you do need to follow the process very closely and clearly, and obviously achieve good marks. To be a doctor or dentist, for example, here in the United Kingdom, it's the most competitive area to go into, and you do need to do your research, and you need to have that fire and ambition from a very early stage. But this isn't the place really to ask those questions. You should, get on and do that research or talk to somebody in that field and find out what the journey is. My daughter, she's a dentist now, and it wasn't an easy journey to go down, but she was so focused on being a dentist from at the age of 12, 13. That's all she wanted to do, and she got there. eventually. But she knew the process from a very early age, what to follow. And it's the same with all disciplines. You need to do your research. You can't just, it's not a case of catching sound bites and bits of news here and there. Sit down and do your research. It's really crucial here.
Right. Thank you there. And Dr. Tatwawadi, Hriday has clarified his question. And he asks that what he meant was, how can a career have a wide scope? Because when we choose a career, it can be probably very narrowly focused, but how can it have a wide scope? And how shall we search about any course right from ground level? So how would any student at this point of time, search for a course? What would be good for him?
See, like I said, if they are 12th standard students, they get guidance in school. Schools also provides them the course options. And today the Google Master is there where all the options are available. But like options are available and options are there. But how is your personality? That is very important. That course should be suitable to your personality and your aptitude, because I have seen many students, they everyone wants to become an engineer or a doctor or something, but do they have the aptitude? If they realize by doing 12th standard, while in 12th standard or while doing graduation, they don't have aptitude for particular things which they have selected, so they can switch to another option, because whatever options or whatever specialization which is there in mind, I said it is not their thinking. It is actually induced thinking by others. It is induced in their mind, so they are not thinking of what they actually want. So I want all the students, start thinking what they want and start taking decisions. Taking decision at this moment is very important, and whatever decision they take, it should be very well researched decision, very well researched, and then take a decision. Once you take a decision, then what happens? If any decision anybody wants to take, so like Andrew mentioned about his daughter, I can mention about my daughter. After doing 12th science, she decided she wants to go into economics only. It was decided by her. I said, okay, fine. You want to do it, give your best in that. Got distinction in that, completed graduation. After that, she went into Indian Air Force. See, so there are like combined entrance examinations after graduation for all the students. Either they want to go for higher studies, they can go, or there are options available where they can appear for competitive examinations. So, how to select a career? For that, career options are there. Your personality is there. Your personality, aptitude, interest, and your academic results are there with you. Match that and choose a subject or specialization.
Thank you, ma'am. In fact,
in my
yes,
okay.
sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was saying in my presentation when I talked about business, I talked about the versatility and the breadth of a business degree pathway, and what a business degree offers. It offers a wide range of choices, but if you ever decide to be an entrepreneur or go into a family business, or you want to run or be head of an organization, you don't just focus on finance, you focus on finance, marketing, HR, operations, strategy, a whole host of functional areas you need to have an awareness of. And I think what a business degree offers, it offers you that full overview of what's important in terms of an organization, whether it's a charity or a non-profit organization or a commercial organization. You still need to have those skills, and a business degree will offer you all those skills and knowledge, and it also offers the opportunity to specialize later on. That could be in the final year, it could be in your postgraduate studies, your master's level. That's where you decide you think, you've been introduced to all these subject areas, but you want to go into marketing, or you want to go into finance, or one of the other particular disciplines. So there's an opportunity to specialize first, further on in your studies, but there's also an opportunity to understand how the business organization works. And that's what I was talking about in terms of options and versatility. It's down to you really. we've introduced you to this wide range of skills, and if you want to specialize, and maybe it's not your choice, maybe you get a job with an organization like a trainee manager, for example, where you will need all those skills, but you also have to pick up a sort of the knowledge of the industry or sector you're going into. But what it does, it equips you with the initial skills you need to get into those employment opportunities. Okay, so it's how you use these opportunities is really down to you as an individual and what type of sector you want to go into. So we're equipping you with the sort of the basic tool bag, and then it's down to you to sort of find out which of the instruments you would rather use or focus on later on in life. Okay, so it's these introductions today, these courses, this is an introduction, this is a doorway into these opportunities. Even when it comes to programming and computing, I hear all these sort of new IT computing related courses, whether it's gaming, whether there's a whole host of them. These particular areas to go into, they're areas you go into after you've learned your initial skills. So once you've picked up programming, then you can go into particular areas, whether it's gaming, whether it's cybersecurity, developing websites, database systems. You need to have the core skills and experience before you can jump into that. And sometimes I'm always a bit suspicious when I see a degree in, say, let's just pull out an area. Sometimes you see degrees which are in very specific, say, artificial intelligence. There's some very good degrees in artificial intelligence, but a lot of these areas, you need the basic programming skills to start with. Okay, so a generic computing course will give you the sort of foundation skills you need to go on and specialize in these particular areas, whether you do that through postgraduate study or you're through your own work experience and study in an organization. But you do need to be equipped with the basics first. So you need to walk before you can run. Okay, and again, it's about thinking about where you want to get to and what skills and experience will help you get there. It's about doing that research.
So, Charushil, some students, if they want to connect to us, they can contact us, send their queries. Correct?
Yes.
In
absolutely.
future also, we can meet them individually and we can solve their doubts even in individual sessions also.
Yes, we can. And those who would like more information can, of course, log on to www.met.edu. I'll repeat that, www.met.edu. Or they can also, as you rightly said, mail their questions to us on the same mail ID where they received their invitations.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely possible. And as we have exceeded, the time limits, so we'll not wait for further questions. However, we'll bring the program to a close. And while we do that, I would also like to thank today the trustees of Mumbai Educational Trust, Dr. Seema Tatwawadi, Mr. Andrew Rennie, Ms. Rebecca Cons, and staff of Amity Institute of International Studies. I would also like to thank Mr. Irani, Director, Marcom, and Mr. Ashish Srivastava for their valuable support. And thus we end the program for today. Thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you.
It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to interact with you.
Thank you, Charushil. Thank you, Andrew.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you. And good luck to all the prospective students, and hopefully they'll find the right
Yes,
course.
wishing good luck to all the students. And we are all there to always guide you for any other program, not only our program or this program. We can guide you and we can help you in choosing the best options for you. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
everyone.